Hello and welcome to my podcast. I'm the host of this podcast about mass culture. Yeah, it's not about writing, but mass culture, which is something. And that will be about TV shows, with one contemporary issue about it. In Convergent culture, we will get to more Convergent culture as the podcast progresses. So we are talking about TV shows. One show will be the main focus. What is it? Maybe I should give you a hint. Does anyone caught that? If you do, congrats! Yay! If you don't, well, you should. It's a popular show called Doctor Who. And what a long history this show is. Since 1963 starring William Hartness, the first Doctor, which is aired in some black and white TV show, cable network. The good old times when things are not so advanced. I really do appreciate Doctor Who, but now it's just, yeah. But looking back at it, the media convergence is kinda just really 60s. What is media convergence? There's this author called Richard Hollerman, said in 2010, media convergence is all about the coming together of computer networks, information, communication technology that are inherently adaptable in a technological sense. In an end-user perspective, however, well, media convergence involves digital technology that encodes and decodes multiple streams of science content, like text, still image, moving pictures, digital simulation, sound, music, or even combine those with one or more devices or platforms that the user chooses. Those are media convergence for you. Originally, it's a black and white show on BBC, where audience have to tune in the correct time. It's really old that to the point that you have to go to 1970 to have color, which is 7 years after the show has aired. The media convergence isn't that good. But at least after the first episode of Doctor Who has aired, there's no fuss about it, which create more fanbase just beyond the TV shows. Consider Doctor Who is a show that keeps rebooting itself whenever the Doctor dies, recasting, and they kept for 26 seasons, leading to a lot of people participating in it, which we call participatory culture, which from fans, bloggers, and gamers exploring participatory culture by Henry Jenkins. In 2006, this culture has been really popular and fanfictions are just over the internet if you know how to Google. Which people does love to write a lot of fanfictions about Doctor Who Adventures with the new companions after 1989. Yeah, that's where we got the internet and stuff. To share a low-budget sci-fi show on BBC. Then there's a case study about Doctor Who and the convergence of media by Neil Perryman. In 2008, Doctor Who stepped with the convergent culture after 1989. Because of the low ratings, and honestly the 8th era is kinda sucks, but that's not the point. But BBC are willing to just make fanfictions, low budget videos, and just, fan films came to life. All between those gaps, which is starting one contemporary issue about it, about pleasing specific types of fans, but yeah, we'll get to that. Cause now in 2005, we got a new era by Russell T Davies. Bring Doctor Who back to the light. And it's impressive. My best memories of Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant is just mwah. With a lot of good characters and a lot of good plotting. But after Russell T Davies left, it's Stephen Moffat's turn to run the show. I mean, I do like his writing in the Russell T Davies era, especially The Girl in the Fireplace. But his era isn't good, but it's also not bad overall. But at least the 11th and 12th Doctor are good. Played brilliantly by Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. Then we got the Chibnall era. Now that's where we talk about the contemporary issue. Aside from the fact that Chris Chibnall's writing in Russell T Davies and Moffat era are pretty bad, so I don't know why is he chosen as a showrunner. Just kidding, I actually know. It is stated from a book called Desperately Seeking the Audience by Ian Ang in 1991. In European traditional of public service broadcasting, making money has always been rejected as the object of television and radio program. Instead, the aims and purpose of these medias were conceived by the overriding consideration that broadcast is a servant of culture, the illustrator and influencer of the first Director General of the BBC. So that is their intention. So they make the culture to be more political, to be the servant of the modern culture. The participatory culture that you can express your thoughts. Of course, the 13th Doctor being a female is because of that, and the technological side that people can express their opinions online. and you just mainly focus on one side and just ignore the other side. I mean, I still like Missy in Doctor Who, who's basically a female version of the Master, but that is during the Moffat era, which convergent culture isn't a contemporary issue yet. It's only in the Chibnall era, the one with Jodie Whittaker as the lead. From this interesting study called Finally, We Got to Play the Doctor, Feminist Female Fans' Reactions to the First Female Doctor Who, by Nita Yodovich in 2020. The first female protagonist of the new franchise of Doctor Who is required to portray all female and fulfill every female viewer's expectations, cause there is not much female role models in the world. They would like to represent them, sure. Like I said, I like Missy in Doctor Who, and previous versions are played by a male. If only you don't just one-side this convergent culture politics. Even in the same article it said, Doctor Who fans' protests against the fandom become too politically correct. That's why there are negative receptions of episodes centered around Rosa Parks or Partition of the India. Well, it just sounds like it's our fault. So let's look at a review written by a female. Can Russell T. Davies fix what Chris Chibnall broke in Doctor Who? It's written by a female called Isobel Lewis in 2022. Doctor Who serves between forgettable and memorable for all the wrong reasons. Individual episodes like the Rosa Parks one and the Indian episode are dragged down with exposition and cliches, while the broader story arcs were impossible to keep track of. In its worst moments, nearly 60 years of Doctor Who canon are destroyed. And in the last series titled Flux, a self-contained run of episodes both baffling and inconsequential was sure to do it, if you haven't given up the era yet. As for the 13th Doctor herself, Chibnall basically handicapped Whittaker's chance to shine. Her Doctor is overly serious and introspective, not given any room to play like her predecessors did. That's basically the case study of contemporary issues in Doctor Who when it comes to TV shows, that you don't find a common ground in this convergent culture. Not only just review, even the rating sides. As stated from the Rise and Fall of Doctor Who ratings by Alex Garrett in 2022, 13th Doctor era has one of the sharpest ratings decline in history of Doctor Who. The Timeless Child finale, which is final episode of series 12, only has a rating of 4.7 million. And Jodie Whittaker's penultimate story, Legends of the Sea Devils, is the second lowest rated Doctor Who episode in the 60 years of Doctor Who history. This servant of culture that television is supposed to be doing is just one-siding everything, leading to a downfall of poor reviews and poor ratings. I mean, in the book Convergent Culture, where old and new media collide, by Henry Jenkins by 2006, there does seem to be a much greater diversity of opinion on side dealing with popular culture than on side dealing directly with politics. But if we want to bridge between the different opinions, we need to find a common ground and expand upon it. We need to create a context where we listen and learn from one another. We need to deliberate together, with not just focus on one side of the internet. That is the contemporary issue in this convergent culture in TV shows. When TV shows only serve one side of the culture, or kinda just want to ignore or bring down the other side. You see that in like Rings of Power and She-Hulk, where the creators literally said they make the show to troll trolls. That from a Variety interview in 2022. The showrunner said our writer's room opened 3 years ago. The fact that we are able to predict what the reaction was going to be, what a lot of trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and original these trolls are. That really tickled me because the little troll that lives inside of me really loves to trolling the trolls. Yeah, those shows really does have negative reception. But at least for Doctor Who, after Chibnall is gone, they bring back Russell T Davies back. But he said it's not because of his skin color, but because of the best person walking into the room. By Stefani Sabruba and Tilly Pierce in 2022. Seems like they are trying to fix this contemporary issue in this convergent culture. Plus, the new series of Doctor Who is gonna stream on Disney+, according to Stephen O'Brien in 2022, which will boost more media convergent, participatory culture, and convergent culture. Of course, the new series hasn't come yet. We will see will things get improved or not. But it's pretty promising right now. But for what happened in the Chibnall era, it's done. It ignores one side of the fandom to just put the other side up, instead of just helping each other, which we already used as an example of contemporary issues in convergent culture in TV shows. I really hope they fix that mistake eventually, not just in Doctor Who, but in every TV shows. And that's all the time for this podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.